Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Alex Halsey. I'm the health fitness specialist at the McLean location. Welcome to Push, Pull, and Legs, PPL. Where every workout you have, you got one less reason to get a BBL. All right, because you're doing the work naturally. All right, so hope you guys had a chance to look at the description. You'll see what moves we got working on. You'll see what moves we're going to be working on today. All right, so today's going to be a core focused day. So we're going to be hitting the core indirectly through the moves that we're doing. All right, so naturally, all of these moves have some resemblance of unevenness to them. So that's how we're going to hit the core. We kind of are going to have to use our core, brace our core in order to keep ourselves from being affected by the imbalances that are inherent to these moves. All right, so we got 3 moves we're going to be working on, and each one is going to incorporate some element of imbalancedness. All right, so you will need weights for today's class. The heavier the better today, actually. Heavier being a relative term, meaning whatever you consider to be heavy, that's going to be perfect. And ideally two different weights of this ideally 2 different weights. That's what I'm trying to say. 2 different dumbbells, 2 different kettlebells, 2 different whatever it is that you have would be the most useful, but you can still get away with just one. Not a problem. All right, so if you only have 1 heavy dumbbell, 1 heavy weight, that's not an issue. We can use that for today. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get warmed up. Get your weights. Hopefully you have those close by. But like I said, the heavier the better today, relatively speaking. So just grab what you consider heavy, and we'll be able to use that in our workouts. Okay, so I'm just gonna fix this camera real quick. We're gonna get ready to warm up in a second. It's just a little crooked. All right, feel better with that. Cool. Okay, so we're gonna start our warm up. Again, keep your weights handy. We'll be needing them soon. So we're gonna start our warm up. Here we go. All right, so starting off with a burpee step back. Bring your hands down and to the floor. Step back, then in and all the way up. Just trying to get the heart rate elevated here. So getting up and down off the floor is the point. That's going to help elevate your blood pressure. It's going to help elevate your breathing, which is going to help get us more ready for exercise. All right, we got 1 more. After this move, we're going to come down on all 4s, go right into cat-cow. So from here, bring the crown of your head towards your back and tuck your chin. Pull it toward your chin, or toward your chest. Tuck your chin, pull it toward your chest. Smooth motion here is what we need. 1 more. All right, and from here, you're gonna push your butt back to your heels. Reach your hands out nice and high up on the floor. And you're gonna alternate between a cobra right here and child's pose. So you're squeezing your glutes, pushing your hips into the mat, into the floor when you're in your cobra, and you're just pushing your butt back as far as you can toward your heels when you come in child's pose. Last one. And from here, you're gonna come up to world's greatest stretch. All right, so bring the right leg up, push the knee as far forward as you can get it relative to your toe, and you're going to elevate the back leg. Take your right hand and reach up, come back down, push your elbow toward the floor. Last one. And from here, you're gonna come up to your feet, hold this split stance, straighten the right leg out, squeeze your right quad, push the chest down to the floor. Don't arch your back, don't let your back arch at all. From here, bring the left knee down and straighten the right leg back out. Keep your chest down. It'll help you keep the hips in the right position so that way you can feel the stretch in your right hamstring. Last one, and switch. So left leg is coming up now. Push the knee forward, keep the heel on the ground, elevate the back leg, rotate up, push the elbow down toward the floor. Last one, and you're gonna come up to the split stance. You might need to bring that back leg up a little bit. Again, push the butt back, keep this left leg straight, push the chest toward the floor, drop the knee down, and bring it back up. Three more. And six. All right, so from here, bring both of your feet together, bring your butt down. You're gonna turn your fingers to the left and the right, roll the shoulders back and down, elevate the hips, and bring them back down. Looking for 10 reps here. Two more. And done. All right, so from here, you're gonna still stay in the same position. You're gonna take your left hand, bring your hips up, reach your left hand up and back toward the back corner. And let me pause this. We're gonna keep on going. Just need a few extra minutes or seconds to warm up. So again, take the left hand, reach it up and behind you. This is similar to the stretch that you do when you wake up in the morning. You're gonna come right back down, switch sides, right hand now, up and reach back. We're gonna do that a few times, 3 times each side. One more. It's later in the week, so I'm a little fatigued, if you will, coming up 2 feet from working out earlier this week. So I'm just trying to make sure I take enough time to properly warm up so I'm ready to get into today's moves. All right, so now that we're good to go, we're going to review the first move. So today's first move is a farmer carry march. So we can do this 2 different ways. This depends on how many weights you have and what those weights are. So usually a farmer carry, you have weights in both sides or just one, in both hands or just one, and you walk slowly, trying to keep your shoulders stacked over your hips or your pelvis. So the reason this works the core is because you have to move your legs and you're holding a lot of weight. The heavier the weight with this move is, the better. So what we're going to do to make it harder is we're going to hold one weight, that's the imbalance, that's the unevenness we're introducing into the move, and we're going to add a march. So you can hold this down low, that's the easiest. You can hold this right here at the shoulder, this is the one level up, or you can take the weight completely overhead and march. That's the hardest, okay? So if you have a dumbbell or kettlebell, doesn't matter. Either way, we want to use one side here. You can keep both of your hands loaded. That'll make it a little bit harder, but make sure one side is heavier than the other to increase the instability, the unevenness, the imbalance, okay? But if you have one weight, it's perfectly fine. Just choose one of those 3 moves that I did to make that the move you do. All right, so here we go. We got 6.5 minutes. We got the farmer carry march. You go from one side to the other and you just keep on going, okay? So same thing as before, keep on going until you feel yourself getting tired, switch sides. Keep on going until you feel yourself getting tired, switch sides. For the entire 6.5 minutes, that's what we're doing, All right, so here we go. 3, 2, 1, let's get it. So I'm gonna work my way up in difficulty. So I just like to kind of get myself going here. And again, this is the easiest way to do this move. And when you're marching, it's not really fast. It's slow so that you can feel the weight shift a little bit more. The faster you go, the more you can kind of allow momentum to dictate how well that move is working. The slower you go, the more you'll feel this in your core. All right, so you're trying to keep your shoulders stacked over your hips. You don't want to lean to the right. You don't want to lean to the left. You want to keep the shoulders as square as possible. Keep the hips as square as possible. Keep the shoulders stacked right over top of the hips as best as you can as you move. So again, switch from side to side. I am going to try to switch every minute, but one side should be harder than the other. I'm left-handed, so my right side gets a lot of work. My right obliques get a lot of work. When I put the weight in my right hand, now my left obliques are getting a little bit more work, and they need it. So again, one side should be harder than the other. I'm going to try to switch every minute here. That should give us 3 or 4 rounds of each side. And the more you march, we're also just getting our hip flexors some work as well, which is good because this is one of our 5K training moves, and it's going to help you lift your knee. The hip flexors lift the knee. So switching in 3, 2, 1. All right, so now I'm going to come up to my shoulder here. Do the same thing again. Take your time. You're trying to hold that core nice and tight. Keep the shoulders over the hips. And if you have a dumbbell, you carry your weight a little bit different. You more than likely just be here. The kettlebell, it's a little bit easier to carry because it falls right in the pocket of my arm here. So again, try not to lean to your left, try not to lean to your right, try to keep the shoulders as square as possible. 10 seconds till we switch sides. And switch. And of course, you can always give yourself an additional weight if you have that. Like I have here, my left hand, I have a lighter weight, but I have the bulk of it in my right arm now. So again, slow movements. It's going to help you feel the shift of the weight in your core a little bit more. As you lift the knee, you should feel the core cinch down a little bit more. Keep the shoulders square. 10 seconds till we switch. We're going overhead next. Don't know if I can hold the weight up for a minute, but I'm going to try. Back to the left side. Marching. So here we're also getting a little bit of shoulder work, working on shoulder stability. Hopefully your hips are getting tired. Doesn't mean you can't march, it just means you can sense the fatigue in your hips a little bit more than before. And when you bring the knee up, try not to arch your back like this. Keep the torso straight. Just lift the knee up as far as it'll go and return. We don't want to do any of that where you are lunging forward 10 seconds. We got 90 seconds remaining. Again, try to keep the shoulders square. Make sure you're doing what you can to breathe as normally as possible. Try not to lean to the side. Keep everything nice and centered. Take your time. We got about 20 seconds before we switch. Last 10 before we switch to the last time. And last 30 seconds. Ooh. I'll come back down. And just for fun, we'll come here. Another uneven load. We spend a lot of time on one leg when we walk and when we run. So being able to manage an uneven load while you move is key for good core stability. So we're done there. All right. So hopefully that wasn't too hard, and I hope you had some weight that challenged you for that move. So for the next move, nothing too complicated. Very simple. It's a single side squat or single side pickup. So again, you're having your heavy weight here. I have a kettlebell, so it's a little bit easier for me to squat down than not. However, you can use a surface to elevate your weight to do this. So all you're doing, keep your weight on one side. You're gonna squat down, pick it up, then drop it back down, stand up. Just like that. Simple, and let's go. So it's uneven, it's unbalanced. So this is all we're doing, squatting down, picking it up, stand up, squat down again, drop it, and just keep on repeating, okay? So, yes, we're getting the work of a squat here, but we're picking up weight only on one side at the bottom of the squat. All right? So the bottom of the squat is the harder of the two positions to hold compared to the top. It's easy. If I have weight on one side, I can definitely squat down and come back up. Yes, that is slightly challenging. But if I'm going to pick it up at the bottom, this is the more weaker position of the two. So if you just keep going down, coming up, you'll feel most of the weight is being carried by that left leg or whatever side the weight is on. That's what we want. Same challenge here shows up as in the first move. Keep the shoulders square, keep the hips square. Don't lean to one side or the other. And as you move, you should be cinching down on the core a little bit to kind of help keep things balanced. But take your time here. Again, not a rush. The slower you go, the more you'll feel the core working. Just go until you feel like you're getting tired and then switch. So kettlebell is perfect for this move. If you have a dumbbell, not a worry. You can either elevate the dumbbell or turn it on its side so it's long ways going up and down, and you can kind of just palm the one side that's up and drop it back down. All right, I'll show you what I mean. You can just turn it up and down like this, squat down, pick it up like this, and come back down. You don't need a lot of weight to feel this move. This kettlebell is the heaviest thing I have. However, it's still enough to feel this move. I can definitely handle heavier. But again, it's enough to feel this move. That's why I said the heavier weight you have, the better you're going to feel the moves. The more you're going to feel the moves today, the harder the workout will be. So we're setting it down at the bottom so that your mind can kind of get a sense of what it's like to not have the weight and then immediately pick up the weight. not have the weight, immediately pick up the weight. So again, the slower you go, the more you'll feel it. And when you come up, make sure you're not unbalanced. You may shift, that's perfectly fine, but just shift as little as you can. You should feel this in your core. You should feel this on the leg or the side the weight is on, the leg that's on that side. And what I mean by your core, you should feel it in your obliques. If I'm picking it up on my right, you should feel that tension in your left oblique. If I'm picking it up on my left, you should feel that tension in the left oblique. And at the end of the day, you're doing what you can to distribute the load between both sides as evenly as possible. It's not going to be evenly distributed, but the goal is to find a position that makes you feel like you are. That's why the unbalanced nature of these moves is going to help us. There's a natural tendency to lean to one side when you have that weight only on one side. But we're trying to fight that today. Whew. So we got under just over 2 minutes remaining in this interval. Let's keep on going. Hopefully you figured out which leg is the strongest. You don't have to squat slow per se, but you don't have to squat super slow either. I know I said the slower you go, the more you'll feel it. That is true. So just go with whatever speed is comfortable for you, but relative to that speed, try to slow it down. I'm also talking to myself because I need to slow down a little bit. So we got 90 seconds. Let this last 90 be your best 90. And again, take your time. Try to keep your hips from turning to the left if the weight's on your left. Try to keep the hips from turning to the right if the weight's on your right. What I mean by that is I have a tendency I want to turn this way and lift the weight up. Try to fight it. Again, it's okay if you shift a little like that. It's okay. Just try to reduce it as much as you can. So instead of turning toward the weight, turning my hips toward the weight, I want to turn my hips straight and try to stand straight up. You also may find that your weight keeps trying to hit your side of the side of your body. That's okay. If you wear pants, maybe that's not an issue, but if you got on shorts like me, maybe it's rubbing a little bit. But it ain't nothing we haven't had to deal with before. We got less than 30 seconds. Keep it up. Very simple. This last sequence is the most challenging move. So in that sense, I saved the best for last. We got less than 10 seconds. Let's not for those 3 beats. Okay. Okay, so good work. Hopefully that wasn't too hard. We're just trying to trigger a little bit of sensation of instability in the core. Grab some wood if you need it. All right, last move. Just have 20 seconds or so before we gotta get started. So they're called pendulums or pendulum swings. If you have a dumbbell or a kettlebell, this would be perfect. Stability ball or medicine ball, it doesn't matter. All you're going to do, you're gonna grab your weight, start up at the top, and you're just going to swing it down and around to the other side, like a full circle golf swing. For those folks who feel like they lack coordination to do this, you can do this. All right, it's literally, you're just keeping your arms slightly straight, mostly straight. They're slightly bent, but you might be able to get away with them being straight. If you can, great. But all you're doing is swinging your weight up and back to the other side. Now, I don't recommend going this slow, but if you have weight light enough for you to feel it then that's great. The momentum in this move is key. For here, I would actually choose a certain time frame to go with, or of course counter reps, so that you know how many it takes for you to get tired. We're still following that same ideal, going until you get tired, which applies very nicely here. But we want to use the momentum because we have to twist with it. That's going to cause your core to turn on in order to stop the weight and shift the momentum back the other way. So if you know how to pivot your feet or your hips, this is a very good move for you to do. Heel toe action in order to swing. All right, so not very many there. Then take a breather. We're just under 5 minutes. So again, let me move this out the way so you guys can see the contrast on my feet a little bit better. I'm generating the motion to twist or pivot from my hips and my feet. So again, heel, toe, heel, toe. Same thing on the other way. Heel, toe, heel, toe. When you do that, you naturally get your obliques to help turn your pelvis. Heel, toe. One side might be more efficient than the other, but nonetheless, that's exactly what I'm doing. That's exactly what I'm doing. All right, heel, toe. You just let the momentum ride. All right, so you're turning from your hips and your feet. That's all. Let's go, let's go. 4 minutes on the dot remaining. So you kind of just get a little swing on. All right, and then let it go. I'm exhaling every time I turn. Turn your head, your body will follow. Heel, toe, turn from your hips. Whew. So barely 30 seconds. So, again, even if you have lighter weight, it's okay to go slower. We want to use as much momentum as we can, but don't be scared to slow it down if you feel like you need to slow it down in order to get the move right. Think of anybody in the military who may be standing in their formation and they're given the order of a right face. That's all they do. That's all we're doing here. Bring it back to the left. Heel, toe. Left face, right toe, left heel, bring it back. And all we're doing is switching and switching, all right? So feet and hips is your guide. The rest will follow. Let's get it going. Head, feet, and hips. Head, feet, and hips. In that order, that's how I think about it. That's how I can turn. Head, feet, and hips. Head, feet, and hips. Trying to gain that momentum to swing at the bottom right here when you turn. That's where the momentum is coming from to help you turn. Whew. We got less than 2 minutes to go. Hope you guys are enjoying this move as much as I am. Gets the full body involved. And gets the heart rate up. I have to put this one earlier in the sequences so we can use that third move to cool down next time. And I know I'm late showing a modification, but a good modification for this move is to just kneel on one knee, and you can swing your weight up and back down. Swing your weight up and back down. All right? You can use lighter weight that way because you're removing your legs from the move. So you have less power to generate from the hips to put into the swing. And then of course you just switch knees and switch sides. But we'll bring it back so that way you guys can try it again and do the modification for a few more rounds if you need to. Or if maybe you get a little bit too tired, you can always go and perform the modification after you've begun the main move and you're just tired now. So we got less than 30 seconds. We're gonna finish up here. Let's finish strong, guys. Getting all in the hips. Head, feet, and eyes. Whew. Okay. All right, now let's cool down. So let your heart rate come down for a few seconds. Take a few seconds so that can happen. Grab some water, put your head in the freezer, open your window, whatever you got to do. We're going to come down to the floor and stretch out in a second. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and cool down. We're gonna start off on the mat, on our backs, on the floor. All right, so let's go ahead and get there. From here, all you're gonna do is bring your knees to your left, drop your knees to your left side, bend the knees at 90 degrees. You're gonna try to open up to your right. Bring your right shoulder as low as you can get it to the floor. And you're gonna come up and switch. Sure, I look silly sliding over the floor like that. Again, try to get the left shoulder as close to the floor as you can. Don't force it, but to see how close you can get. And relax. Sit on up. Straighten the left leg out. I'm going to bring the right leg across and over and pull the right leg into the body and twist to your right. And relax and switch. And relax. Gonna grab your right ankle, pull the heel toward your glute. Stretching out the quad here. You can squeeze your right glute a little bit just to emphasize the stretch in the quad. And relax. Gonna switch legs. Grab the left ankle, pull it toward the left glute. Same thing. And relax. We're gonna come to our feet here. So you're gonna straighten the right leg out, cross the left leg over. You're gonna push your butt back, let your chest fall toward the floor, and just reach your toes or your fingertips down toward your toes. Make sure you're breathing while you're down here. Emphasize those deep breaths. Take a big breath in. Slowly come up. You're going to switch sides. So now you're going to straighten the left leg out, cross the right leg over. Big breath in. Push the hips back. Let the hands fall toward the toes. Because we're upside down, emphasize those deep breaths. Take a big breath in. Slowly come up. And you guys heard the timer, so that is our time. Thank you guys for joining me. Hope you enjoyed that workout. Hope it made sense to you. Again, just working on the core indirectly via instability and uneven loads. All right, so a million different ways you can do that, but I hope you enjoyed at least one of those three, and hope you enjoyed the workout. So I hope y'all have a good rest of your day. Please keep stretching if you need to, and I will catch you guys on the next class next week. Y'all have a good one. Holla.